want to ask you this. I'm fascinated to know what you think about this. I feel like we don't, as human beings in leadership, no matter what field we're talking about, I just don't think we do a good job of passing the baton. So this is kind of an extemporary question, but I just thought I want to know what your thoughts are on how a healthy leader.
Now, do you mean in succession or in tasks?
Succession.
In delegating?
Sorry, succession.
Succession.
I said pass it, yeah. This idea of, okay, you've got a leader who's done very, very well.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't seem to me, now I'm not saying it's not done well, but it doesn't seem to me that we as humans naturally do that well, where we say, okay, I am this iconic leader or leader that's revered, and now it is my time to move on to a different season, and I want to make sure that I bring in a leader. What are your thoughts on why we don't do that well?
Well, there's a couple of them. One is, endings are hard for people, right? And one of the worst things is when we stay on longer than we're invited.
Yeah,
right?
It's awkward for everybody.
And we can be invited by reality, that it really is time for somebody to move on because reality has changed and it's a different season. You know, if you look at Microsoft, for example, one of the cool things, I read an article when Ballmer stepped down, and he was talking about when, he led it through a time when it was right for him to be there, and now the world has changed, and it needs a different person. And he recognized that. Well, some people, so much of their identity and who they are, and they would be empty if they didn't still have that. It's difficult for them to let go. And that comes from, really, and I would say this to all leaders, that comes from a lot of times a path where they're so unidimensional that they really are defined by that, whatever that is. And what great leaders do, they're so developing and growing. Great leaders don't leave one thing and fall off a cliff. Great leaders leave one thing to utilize the development and growth that they've learned there in even bigger or better things, or different things. If you look at, presidents do this all the time. Look at Clinton, when he left and went to, solving, trying to solve big global problems in all sorts of ways. Bill Gates has done the same thing.
Jimmy Carter's
After
another a relatively failed presidency.
Just thinking, and so when it's time to let go, it's time to let go. Now that's good for you. It's also good for the organization. And every context is different. I have seen scenarios where emeritus is kind of around, and it's really helpful to have emeritus around. Everybody loves emeritus. I've seen other places where they should put handcuffs on emeritus and take him or her out into a paddy wagon and go to jail because they can't not interfere. And so, by and large, here's the answer. It must be clear who's leading. And that's not done by a title, that's done by reality. If the reality is somebody new has a title, but the reality is the other person's still exercising the laws of physics in that space, you got a problem.